One morning, I was working, in my job, and we were serving the Lord there at First Kenner. But one morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning, it was, literally to me, someone had come into our bedroom. I heard, someone speak to me, and of course I got up in bed, and I knew someone was there. Because I'd heard them speak in a man's voice, and I jumped up, turned the light on, and no one was there. And I thought, well, I was dreaming, so I laid back down and to go back to sleep, thinking I just had a dream. And then I heard the voice again, speak to me just very clearly, and it was, I want you to go to school. And that was it. The next Sunday morning, I taught Sunday school, and we had 2 Sunday schools. We were flip-flopping, and I was crossing a young man named Chris Fast, who was chairman of our deacons that year. We actually passed by each other, and walked 50, 75 steps away from one another. And he turned around and called back to me, and he said, "Have you ever thought about going to seminary?" I can't tell you how I've never had such a satisfying feeling in all my life like I had the first day I sat in a seminary class, And, that started our career in seminary, and here we are today. Very early on in my seminary career, I got interested in background historical geography, and my work always leaned in that direction. This summer we have 3 active sites that we're working on. I've been digging at Seminary, which is a New Testament era site up in the Galilee, and we'll work there this summer, but finish that. That'll be done. We've been working for 10 years at Theological, which was one of the Canaanite Federation cities, a very large city, has a Solomonic gate there. We think last year that we found the water basin, and we're at the bottom of it. We're about 155 feet or so, which even now we're not quite sure why. There's nothing in the ancient world like it. Up above in the city, there is a Canaanite gate there. It's one of 4 that are still left in the land of Israel, but it dates somewhere probably around 1800 BC, so about the time of Abraham. We also have along the walls, we have niches that we believe have religious inscriptions in it. One of them, for instance, is it appears to be a standing stone. And up on top at Tel Gezer, there's one of the most magnificent high places that's been found in Israel. 10 standing stones, which probably represent 10 gods out of the pantheon of the Canaanites. Now it's, as these things turn up, it makes Scripture not just, it's always alive to us, but it makes it a part of your being when you go and walk these places. We're trying to bring understanding to Scripture through archaeology, through understanding the material culture and the people and all of that. Our goal is okay, you can hardly read the Bible, for instance, without a reference to a geographical location. Okay, so can I go and literally find that place on the ground? Well, yes, I can do that. And it says there's a city there. Can I discover that city? Well, yes. It says that Jesus was there in that place. Forensic science has done more to help us in our work than anybody. Even down in the water tunnel, 150 feet underground. We took soil samples out of there, and we're able to tell what through people who work with pollen, who can extract from that pollen, that they find their DNA evidence that will tell you exactly what kind of grass, what kind of trees and all were blooming in that period of time. We have people who are expert with bone. We bring carbon-14 dating and everything that we can possibly do. Well, the one piece of jewelry that we found that was in the jar buried in the wall, that had been wrapped, all of that jewelry, inside a linen cloth. And part of that linen had stuck to the silver medallion that had the 8-pointed star of Ishtar on it. We were able, there's an expert that works for the Israel Antiquities Authority who is expert in flax and linen, and who was able microscopically to pull that up, and she found on that linen cloth where two pieces of it had been joined, and the stitching that was used is only found in the Middle Bronze Age. The more of this kind of work that's done, the clearer and clearer and clearer it becomes that the Scripture is exactly as it is written. And my passion is that we do that well today, but I want to make sure that we have people involved, students that are developing, that are going to take it into the next generation. I think we've not even scratched the surface. That's a pun.